Futures trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Content provided in this segment is meant for educational purposes and is not a solicitation to buy or sell commodities.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk. I am Cody. He is Andy, and Paige is with us too. Together, we are the Tech Talk trio, as everyone has wanted to be formally announced as. So, bringing you guys the charts that you want to see at your requests in this show. All three of them are at request for this.
All of them.
All of them.
Even Paige's cat was talking about requesting a chart. Like, I think.
Pumped.
We haven't been here in a few weeks. How you been?
I've been well, man. How are you?
We're hanging in there. Like, this weather is just, it's like wreaking havoc. We had that snow day where they had like the e-learning day where all the kids had to stay home, and we had like a dusting of snow, but they still did it anyways because we were supposed to get like snow apocalypse. And turns out it snowed 3 inches by like 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Bring back snow days, by
That's
the way.
what I'm saying.
What is going on with that?
And now I didn't realize, and maybe you guys are the same way, when school's canceled, you either get a phone call, an email, or a text. I remember back in the day, I mean, I'm not that old, but maybe I am. We'd have to watch the morning news and watch it like it was an NFL draft coming across the ticker. That
I remember
it was like school was canceled and I was excited. You run outside, you're hooting and hollering. Yeah, and now you get a text at 5 a.m. that says...
and they do all of them too. They make sure that, like, I got a phone call, I got a text.
Bring the ticker back, man. That would be a
ticker. I forgot about that.
Kids today. All right, should we jump to our first chart?
Let's get to the first chart. Came at request.
This did.
None other than J-Barf.
J-Barf.
Spell it out for us, Cody. How do you spell J-Barf?
J-B-A-R-F. J-Barf.
J-Barf wants to look at weekly spot Nonfat. Or we made it a weekly. He wanted to look at spot Nonfat.
Correct. You're correct.
So let's take a quick look. Spot Nonfat. I didn't touch anything. I didn't move anything since last time we looked at this.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that so here, it obviously didn't play out, or we were looking for like $1.50. Still might. Who knows? But it clearly, like, what's interesting about this is that once it started to go sideways here, you know, you had that kind of just that like rolling over, like lack of follow through on that what we thought was going to be a nice, you know, extension in the Elliott wave.
Right.
And so, like, what's the next step here? We had this guy drawn right here. So this is served not once but twice. Double top, broke through, and then just ripped through that price once it got through it.
Mm-hmm.
So what was once resistance will become support. We'll see.
Yeah.
What do you think?
3 cents away.
We're only 3 cents away. That's right. Not that far away. Futures, I believe, are a tad premium. Let's go take a quick look. They sure are. So when I say premium, I mean to that price, right? So yeah, I mean, like with this 124 price, I think you have to. I think the market has to go test that level, and then, you know, if you get a breakthrough of that price, you know, you look at, well, like this, all this noise right here, like what we had circled. You're not feeling great, by the way, aren't you?
A little sick.
Let all of our viewers know.
A little sick.
You know, we may be doing like a GoFundMe for Cody's like tissues and like cough drops and stuff like that.
I'm highly supporting Ricola as we speak.
Ricola, that's your cough drop of choice?
Yeah.
Do you have a flavor? Do you have a flavor that you like?
The honey are always pretty good. Okay. I always like to mix those with a little, you know, NyQuil.
It's a party. Like Ricola, NyQuil, let's go. Like,
so I got a party.
All right, you're gonna party. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's really much else to say about it. Not like, you know, it has negative momentum for the first time, and oh gosh, going back to July of last year.
Oh, time.
That's not good. Well, I mean, depends on how you want to look at it, right? If you want lower prices, that's good.
Yeah.
And it still has some room to go on some of these other indexes, right? So we look at money flow. When money flow gets below 20 and it's like oversold, you know, RSI is a very similar type deal. I mean, we can explain a little bit more if you want, but it's a little bit different, but it shows a similar type of scenario where it's threatening to be oversold, but not quite. Yeah. So once it crosses that blue, it's kind of a warning that it's getting oversold, and then it comes back out of it. That's when you want to take some kind of action. But this says that it has room to go. So does this. This is negative momentum. That's showing that the bears are in control. I think the next step is to go test this 124 and some change.
Agreed. And, you know, I don't want to say the saddest part, but the weirdest part is it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to do it this week. Look at Nonfat today, unchanged. I mean, the amount of movement that we have in Nonfat week to week is not massive.
No. I mean, look at this. This was 135 on 10/11, 2024, 134.75 on 124.2025. Yeah. So a lot of, you're certainly not wrong. We've seen it move aggressively in the past. Obviously, you've got some big candles here. They're all, I mean, it happens. But I think at the very least, the next stop is this 124 area, and then we'll see.
Yeah. Agreed.
A breakthrough of that, I guess conversely too. So what if it doesn't, and we start to kind of chop around? I think it gets a little bit dangerous of heading back into, you keep got a small gap here, you've got a small gap here. They're not huge. We have a gap right there. Those start to become magnets. So to me, it's going to do it eye time for that 124 and change. If you can't break through that, probably would want to be liquidating shorts at the very least. We shall see. Pop another Ricola. We got another chart. We're going to go to daily corn. So the next two charts came at request.
Okay.
Specifically asked not to be named. So I guess in this instance, he can either be Mystery Man, double M, or Ye Who Shall Not Be Named.
And that's the alias that he wanted.
That's the alias. That's it, Mystery Man.
No judgment here.
I mean, maybe it's Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery.
You never know.
Did you ever watch the original, the very first movie?
Yes.
Austin Powers, like that's got to be. I love it.
Back in the day.
It's so funny. Okay, so corn.
Oof.
I mean, what do you think here, boss? This is an interesting one.
I think if you are on the short side, if you're on the selling side of corn, I think you are plain old just getting sick and tired of this market.
I would agree.
Not the fact. I think it's just the fact of like all the noise that you hear outside of these. You look at the technicals and it's like, all right, can we go create a new high for 2025? Maybe not. You sell some more, and it's just everyone that I've talked to is like, it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand what's happening. And then yet again today, you put in not a new contract high, but a new high from June of last year.
So I guess I don't understand why you couldn't go retrace this entire move. And the reason being is that, like, obviously had a big trend lower, broke out of that trend. It had a nice base that you built from like a consolidation standpoint, tried to trend lower again and failed at the same price point.
Right.
430 and some change. That second failure at another attempt to trend lower, I mean, that's a big warning because all that does is just create consolidation. And then now you've broken out of that second lower trend and are now, I mean, I don't think I think it's tough to say that you're not trending higher here at this point.
Correct.
This is a nice, healthy uptrend right here.
It is. You break 2 days in a row, and then on the third day, you start to rally and engulf everything that you've just broken the past 2 days. It's been happening. I mean, go back to the beginning of January.
Right.
Is when we started.
For sure. And, like it's hard to say that like, I just go sell it here because it's overdone.
Right.
Because this trend, it's been tested once, twice, 3 times, 4, like several times. And it's not only has it, gotten past that and moved higher, but it's done a really good job of not just like straight up.
Right. Yep.
It's a very healthy, like this price action right here. That's a nice, healthy, steady break. You can maintain that rate of change. Same thing is happening right here. This is a sustainable trend.
Right.
This type of price, these 2 bars right here, you just can't sustain that rate of change for very long.
I got the same thing pulled up that you do, and I look at the RSI every day, and it's like, okay, every time we have a downtick, you readjust the RSI for the movement, the volatility of the chart, and we have not gone into overbought in territory. We just don't.
Yeah. Momentum. What's interesting too is that if you exclude this little blip right here, you really want to see multiple days in a row of once you cross, you want to get like confirmation of that.
Okay.
So, of course, there's always going to be false breakouts, right? But I mean, this once it started to go here and it crossed here, and then it I think you could argue like these 2 points right here as well. But like this trend looks great. I struggle to understand like unless there's some big news item that comes in, which there's obviously been a lot of like tariff news and unknowns there. Who knows what's going to happen with that stuff? So it of course could affect this market in a way where it's like, oh, we're done. But until you get something like that, I don't understand why like this trend looks great, and it looks like it wants to go try to trade $5. And I would imagine that to your point, like there's been probably a lot of new selling that was taking place along here, probably in here too, right? Like, hey, the market's giving you another chance to go sell it because we're going to continue. But to not get a breakthrough of this price in here, that looks somewhat W-ish, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
How about that?
Yes, it does. And I think
$5 corn. Let's go.
I think $5 is just.
This is D's, by the way. So this is the D's contract.
Yeah, it's just like a numerical number an even number in people's minds where $5 corn. Why not?
Yeah, so this is using March, which is basically already there.
Yep.
So it's a little bit tougher to look at the weekly. But, like if you want to use March, totally different contract. I understand we're looking at two different things.
Yep.
This looks good too. This is a weekly. I mean, look at this. Look at these two bars here. And then you had all this noise trying to get low. This was the best that bears could do right here. You go from 470 to basically pretty close to $5, 486. And this is the best they could put up with. And then whoop, right in their face. That's a sign of real strength. And now,
back to $5.
I mean, look at this. Yikes. What's this high right here? 509.5. You get a 510 settle for March.
We had a 502 sell today.
Oh boy. This could get dicey. So, okay. I know ye who shall not be named asked for a second chart. So it's complementary to what we're looking at here. This is wheat. This is Chicago wheat.
Okay.
This is the May contract.
ZW
So there's parallels here to corn. Let's talk wheat.
Sock wheat.
For mystery man. Is it Austin Powers? Who knows? By the way, I think you'd make a great spy.
I feel like it would. If I wasn't Ever.Ag, I feel like a spy would kind of be right in my alley.
Maybe it's the CIA, maybe it's not. I mean, who knows like what agency you'd work for, like acronym. But I feel like you'd make like a really great spy. Like
I appreciate that, man. That's a very nice compliment in my world. I like that.
Can you put that on LinkedIn, by the way? Do people do that?
When you retire, I think you're probably able.
All right. So wheat. Forget about spying for a second. Let's spy on some wheat here.
Same thing with the momentum of the RSI. I mean, just same exact thing.
And it's doing. Look at this right here. This is what kind of drew my attention initially. It's just like what we were looking at corn, where there's been tests to the downside on this trend, and they have been, it's showing us that this is a nice, healthy, steady trend. It's not ripping your face off on any given day.
Great.
And it's absorbing like the down ticks really well. It also had a pretty, like, you could argue that this was a downtrend, but also too, like that downtrend started to end when you built a nice base here around 550. So it's like, you try to be short of market and it's just not breaking through. I imagine 550 is like, $20 milk or something.
Right.
$19, like a nice price that everybody, recognizes. It's 550.
Yeah. So on this, I mean, do you think we go back in a testing fashion to 650 then?
I if you can maintain this type of, like, basically this price action where it's steady, healthy upticks, takes the testing from the bears well. You don't get like none of these candles are really engulfing.
Right.
That one. These, I mean, it took 4 candles to try to retrace this day. So you're not really seeing any like major like this.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Those 2 bars. That's a warning right there. Big downtrend, healthy base that it built, broke out really well. It's now trading above, this is the 100-day, moving average right here. You've got momentum that's positive. Money flow index is telling you it's positive. There's a lot of good things about this chart and reason to be long.
So interesting thing, I have the 200 moving day up in mine also, along with the 100, the 20, the 50. And this is the first day since we go back to that October spike that we settled over the 200-day moving average today.
So I'm glad you brought that up. I just changed my 100 to 200. So this blue line is now the 200-day moving average. And to your point, my gosh, we haven't settled above this since October.
Yeah.
And granted, when we did, it was a poof, here today, going tomorrow. So we'll see.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of solid things happening. And I mean, what's interesting too is that, at that point, like look at the touch that it made here on this RSI and came back down. Does it do it again?
I was just looking at that.
You could get overbought and stay there for weeks.
Yeah. Well, because right now, technically, looking at the RSI, it is technically into overbought in territory, right? Or is it right on that line?
It's on the line. It hasn't crossed that threshold yet. So let's do this. This is what I want to look at right here. This still has room. Look, I mean, we look at some of these secondary indicators, and they also trend well. I feel like they trade well technically too. They're secondary, right? But you cross zero, tried to get through it, failed. You've cleared through like some of this noise, these 2 shoulders, and now you're bumping. Like, I think you have to go test this high right here. So there's room for that to continue moving higher.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So yeah, this is super interesting. First time in a long time over the 200-day. Yikes.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick look at I mean, the weekly, look at this. Yikes. There's that. You could argue that this is a higher low. All right. Tried to get down here and just couldn't get through. There's that 550 number. And now you're bumping up against a price point that was, not only was it resistance, but we just rushed through it last time we were there. Both directions too. I mean, look at this. Here, acted as resistance. What a major number this is. $6. Yeah, if this continues, like, I don't understand why you wouldn't like start to retrace like this move right here. What do you think would be the biggest surprise of this market?
Biggest surprise of this market?
To wheat market, to wheat right here. This chart. What do you think is the biggest surprise that would come to like people in the industry?
Like technically speaking?
Sure.
I think the biggest surprise would be wheat running back to $7. I got to imagine
$7. I was just thinking the exact same thing.
$7 wheat is probably, and I don't know for a fact, but just looking at the chart, $7 wheat, you got to be equating that to corn at $7 also.
Sure.
Because we're already above 5 right now, and I'm not saying it moves 1-to-1. That's not what I'm saying at all. But looking at the chart, basically, you get that kind of move in wheat, and I think you'd see corn kind of pull itself along too.
Yeah, I agree in the sentiment for sure. To me, I asked the question in a roundabout way to help make a point, and you agree with me that like I think the biggest surprise to this market right now feels like a pop to like $7.
Right,
a big pop here. Like you'd have a significant anybody that was think about it this way too. Anybody that was selling it between June of last year and today is basically underwater.
Correct. Yeah.
Anyone with shorts and any of this is now losing money.
Yep.
I think that's a big impact psychologically. And if you can get a pop to where your clip, what's this high right here? Hang on. 617 and some change. A high of this week, 609. Yeah, this is dangerously like flirting with leaving a lot of selling behind. And then you already pointed it out on the daily. Like putting that close over the 200-day, I think is an important thing too. So yeah, this chart ripping higher, I think would be the big surprise to the market.
Well, I think if we go back just to a daily, I think if you get back to that 650 number, I believe you'll see a lot more volatility because I think the shorts are going to say, okay, enough. Like we're done with this. Get out, best price, right back up.
See you later, alligator.
Exactly.
All right. Well, this is good. I know we had a couple weeks hiatus. Weather was going nuts, but we're back.
We're back, baby. We got
back in the saddle. We had Jay Barf. Thanks Jay Barf for the spot non-fat. And then we've got, I guess we could call it Austin Powers, International Man Mystery, Mr. Man. Ye who shall not be named.
Yeehaw.
What other like spot? I mean, like everybody knows James Bond name. It was never like a mystery name.
Jason Bourne.
What would be your spy name?
Oof. Something cool, right? I have to think about it.
All right, think about it. Maybe those that like watch the show can like write it into the YouTube.
Steve Oswald.
Steve.
You know a guy named Steve Oswald? You don't. But if you did, you'd be like, that's a nice old man.
Why does he have to be an old man? Like, what is
he? He has all full-size candy bars at Halloween. But you hear the name Steve Oswald, and you're like, that's a nice guy who shovels his neighbor's driveway, gives out full-size candies at Halloween. Just a good all-around dude.
Mm-hmm.
At home, international spy. Love it.
So would you be an international spy or would you be like a domestic spy?
Both. If I could travel, international waters, I think is where my body's meant for.
Take us up.
Awesome. All right, everybody. With that, we appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate all the requests. We are back, baby. We're going to be back next week, and we'll have some more charts. If anyone would like to see any, please let us know. Shoot us an email. Give us a phone call. Send a letter. Who cares? Just give them to us. We'll look at them. Until next week, we appreciate you guys watching. Have a great rest of the week and even better weekend. See you next time.
See you guys. See you, Steve.